So, I did a video a few weeks back talking about how I'd like to see the Primarchs return, because we do know they all are coming back because, well, Games Workshop really likes to tip things in the Imperium's favor, and it's really only Imperium and Chaos they seem to care about these days. No, I'm not salty as a Necron fan. Thank you for asking. So, with all this talked about, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about, like, the idea of what if the 2nd and the 11th Primarchs, the two that have been banished, returned to the modern day setting. I thought this would be, like, a fun video to kind of, like, talk about and be like, you know, how would this be done? How could you do it? And how could you make it interesting in some form, like, some shape or form? Like, that's what I really like, would really like to do as this video, is talk about, like, how and why to bring back the 2nd and the 11th Primarch, the Lost Primarchs. I'm gonna say some really off-the-wall shit, so just bear with me. If you've been on this channel long enough, you know that I'm notorious for saying off-the-wall shit, especially when it comes to Warhammer. So here's the thing. First off, I think if you're gonna bring back the 2nd and the 11th, like, let's say, hypothetically, Games Workshop decides to bring back the 2nd and the 11th Primarchs. Well, what is to be done with them? How do you make it interesting? Well, for starters, I think you should do this. Make one Loyalist and one Traitor. Just to balance it out. If you're really talking about, like, if you really want it, like, if you really want to, like, balance out how this is going to go, I think the smart thing to do is to have, like, just to keep the balance going, you bring back one as a traitor. In fact, I think that should be the first one. I feel like that should be the, like, because I don't think you should bring back the 2nd and the 11th all at once. I feel like you should bring back either the 2nd and the 11th, it doesn't matter which one, and have them revealed to be like, yeah, they're a traitor Primarch. They got lost in the warp, and they found Chaos, and now they're a Chaos Marine, and they have their Legion with them, still intact, and now ready to rip ass across the galaxy. Now, you could have them be either a follower of... You've already got, like, I think all the Primarchs that are needed to be, like, champions of the Chaos Gods. I think you've got enough there. Although, if you really want to make it interesting, if you really are serious about making Vashtor the 5th Chaos God, maybe have him be a champion of Vashtor. I think that'd be, like... If you really are, like, because Games Workshop really likes talking up Vashtor, I think that should be the thing, is, like, and I know some people are going to say, well, the Iron Warriors, but that kind of spits in the face of what the Iron Warriors are. I mean, I don't think anyone was really cool with the idea of making Perturabo a Demon Prince. I haven't met anyone who was cool with the idea of like, Perturabo, like, it went against everything Perturabo was trying to do in the Horus Heresy. So, this way you could have, like, you could not only hype up, you know, the 2nd and have a new Chaos Legion, new Chaos Primarch, but now you get to, like, hype up Vashtor even more, as he hopefully ascends to becoming the 5th Chaos God. What about Malal? Well, we can get Malal back if Games Workshop decide to stick their head out of their ass and, you know, pay the illustrator who created Malal, and then use him. They can, they just won't pay the money. Anyway... That's a that's a story for another time. So, that's the first thing I think should be done, is making, like, bringing the 2nd or the 11th as a traitor Primarch. You have him be the, sorry, wow, I just blanked. You have him be the traitor, you have him be a one who worships Vashtor. Boom, you've tied in Arcs of Omens, you've done all that. You've done it, you would break your arm patting yourself on the back of how well you've tied this all together. Yeah. So what about the other one? Well, like I said, the other Primarch, I feel like, should come back as a loyalist. But like a loyalist who's more like, kind of like, the reason why they left, or they got banished, excuse me, was because I would have, like, the traitor Primarch. That was the first one to discover Chaos, and the Emperor was like, oh, I can't let my other kids figure out about Chaos. Bye! Like, you're banished. And the other one was the 11th, like, let's say, like, the 11th Primarch was the loyalist one, the 2nd one's the traitor. Let's because I'm going to banty back and forth if I keep doing this. So for this, let's say the second Primarch found out about Chaos. He got expelled into the warp, like he got thrown into the asshole of hell, aka the Eye of Terror, for his actions, and came back a demon Primarch after like Vashtor saved him. But the 11th Primarch was a loyalist, but they questioned the Emperor too much. Like they were like, I'm fighting for mankind here. What you're doing is really fucked up. What's going to happen? Also, what's going to happen to us after this war? Like, let's say the Empire of Man, like the Imperium of Man, like wins out the galaxy. Like, what's going to happen to us after? Like, we're built for war, and if there's no more war, what's going to happen to us? That's like they bark too loudly, they question too much, and that's what got them exiled. But I would have, if you brought them back as a loyalist Primarch, you would have them be like, yeah, I'm loyal to the Imperium, I'm loyal to the people, I'm not loyal to the fucking Emperor, and also, like, my brothers are, they have their own ideas and whatnot, but it's good to be back. I'm not fighting for the beliefs of the Emperor. Fuck him. But I'm fighting for the people. That's what you should do. Like, that's what I feel like should happen in this scenario, is that you have the other Primarch be a loyalist, and to make it more interesting, I would not, I'm not saying they should do this, let me just say this, but I'll explain why I think, it could happen. I feel like the 11th, I feel like one of the Primarchs that will, either the 2nd or the 11th was female. I feel like that's the idea they want to play around with if they do it. But let me explain. First off, I'm not, if they don't do it, I won't be heartbroken over it. In fact, I'll be like, alright, okay, you want to, it goes with the whole, the Emperor wanted to make them all men. And I'm not also saying this because, I did a whole AU video about an alternate universe where Korra from Legend of Korra was a fucking Primarch in this fanfiction alternate universe that I did. I finished the videos. I might, people have asked me to do more, but I digress. I feel like if you're going, it kind of falls into, how you can make that work, possibly make that work is, well, first off, let's talk about something that does bother me. The female Custodes, and not for the reasons you think. The reason why the female Custodes things bothers me is because they've done jack all with the idea. All they've mentioned is, there's always been female Custodes, and that was in a codex. One little throwaway blurb. That was it. You have, so far, as of this recording, they have, the female Custodes thing has been dealt with with nothing. There's been nothing else, no books, nothing to really flesh that out. That's what bothers me about the female Custodes, is that make it interesting, make it a reason why I should care about female Custodes, other than, oh, they've just been around, moving on. Don't do that. You want to piss off your fan base, there you go. You just throw out this line and do nothing with it. It's kind of like, and this is gonna, just follow me. One of the things that was a pretty controversial thing that has grown since is that, if you guys remember back when the New 52 was coming out and they did Earth 2 with the Justice Society, they made Alan Scott gay. And that really wasn't done with any kind of class or anything. They just changed the character. It was also kind of confusing because his son, Obsidian, was gay. And we were like, well, why did you do that if his son... Why? And they did nothing with it for... probably because the writers didn't know what the hell to do. And it really did feel like marching orders from DC. But here's the thing. It became way more interesting as the story progressed. Because it was a really cool way for writers to showcase what it was like to be a gay man in the 40s and 50s and hiding their sexuality, and it became more of a story about that. And I really do appreciate that. I appreciate that that kind of idea, and playing with that idea even more, using it through the eyes of that kind of conflict is through the eyes of a superhero. If they had just it's kind of like why the opposite can't be said for Bobby when they made Iceman gay and they did nothing interesting. They've so far done nothing interesting with the idea. They just were well, Bendis was make him gay. And that was it. and they've done nothing to really, like, flesh that out. Now, granted, I haven't read the Astonishing Iceman book. My friend Chris did send me the book. I haven't read it yet, so maybe that'll change. But so far, throughout all of the X-Men books, and it's not just Bendis, like, I'm talking everyone has just been like, meh. Like, they've done nothing fascinating with that idea. Like, they've played with nothing with that idea. That's why I liked the, like, at first I didn't like the Alan Scott thing, because it just felt really forced and nothing was there. But as the story progressed, it's like, oh, we're taking it to interesting places. Iceman, you've had how many years since Bendis changed him, and done nothing with? That's what I'm saying. Like, getting back on topic, is that is what I'm saying about all of this, is because fucking do something cool with it. It's like that meme. Come on. Do something cool. It's like the meme of that poking with the stick with the female custodes. Give us books. Give us a reason to care about the idea of female custodes. That's what I'm saying, is that give us a reason to care. If you, and that's why I'm going, like, that's why I'm like, if you're gonna do a female Primarch, if you're gonna pull the trigger and make at least one Primarch a woman, give us a reason why it was a woman. In the Korra stories I did, it was started out as like, yeah, Korra was made as a Primarch because Malkador, like, when he brought that whole idea up to the Emperor, he was like, nah, it's not good, but if I make one of them a woman. And then I did the whole thing of, like, she wasn't like some, you know, Mary Sue thing. She lost fights. She did a lot of stuff. But that's enough about that's fan fiction. That's not real writing. But my point is that do something interesting. If you're gonna make one of the Lost Primarchs a woman, which that I feel like that's the direct, like, there's a feeling in my gut, and I could be wrong, but I just have this gut feeling that, like, that's the idea they'll go with, is make one of them a woman. But if you do, give us a reason to fucking care. I want, like, if you don't, I'm for it. I'm for the idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm for the idea of a female Primarch. But at the same time, you gotta give me a reason to fucking care about this character. You cannot. It's the same reason why, like, I feel like I tried to care about Rey in Star Wars. And to an extent, I feel like they'll do a repair job. But after Episode 9, they just fucked that character. They've destroyed Rey as a character in Episode 9. So maybe in the next Star Wars episode, they'll, like, do a repair job, which I'm desperately begging for, because I hated the whole granddaughter of Palpatine thing. Fucking hated it. And also, they really played in the whole Mary Sue thing. I'm getting off topic. My point being is, give me a reason to care if you make a woman Primarch. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't just be like, oh, it's different for the sake of being different. No one likes that. No one fucking likes that. No one fucking likes the idea of different for the sake of being different. Give us a reason why it's different. Give us a reason to care why it's different. Like I said, if you give me like a novel trilogy, if like Mike Brooks or Dan Abnett or some writer does like a trilogy of female custodes books and they're good, that's another thing that's kind of needed. If they're good, then I'll be like, yeah, then female custodes have justified their reason of being here. And speaking as like, oh, it's a major retcon, it can never have, you know, female custodes are a major retcon. It didn't bother me because, like, I'm a comic book fan. Retcons are every other Tuesday. It doesn't, like, it all, like, retcons are just another Tuesday. That's why I kind of rolled with it a lot better than most people. Yeah. So if you bring back the 2nd and the 11th, my point being is, make one a traitor, make the other one a loyalist. But also, and here's the big thing, please give them a major reason as to why the Emperor banished them, like, exiled them and got rid of their troops. Do that, please, for the love of fucking God. Like, give us a solid reason as to why that is. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of the idea? Should the 2nd and 11th Primarchs return? And how should they return, and what should they be like? Should they both be loyalist? Should one be loyalist and traitor, or should they both be fucking traitor? There you go. Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.